So you have to realize, there's actually a huge mayor election happening in New York City. We're picking a new mayor, Bill de Blasio. I doubt he's going to get reelected after the fiasco the past few years. So pretty
The
much,
fiasco or all the fiascos that caused him to create enemies out of all the demographics.
yeah. I mean, he's disliked by everyone. It's like this, like Republicans,
I
Democrats,
mean, nobody can agree
fringes
on a
of the street.
motherfucking thing these days, but
Yeah.
no one's in disagreement over Bill de Blasio.
Yeah, so he was. I guess it's also the fact that people were very like so optimistic after like so many years. You have to put perspective. New York City, like we had Bloomberg, we had Giuliani. That was like almost 20 years of crazy white guys, rich guys running the country, running the city, pretty much. Who led Giuliani, which we showed on Black Power Magic Hour, who led police to beat up people near City Hall in the early 90s. And now he ended up leading people to beat up people in the Capitol. We warned you in Black Power Magic Hour. But yeah, they were mayors of New York City. That was a mayor of New York City. So when Bill de Blasio became mayor, it was like, hopefully, yeah, we're gonna like clean the city up finally, be for the people. And honestly, it's been a shit show. So this debate has been
And he's been reelected at least once, right?
yeah. So
Oh,
this debate has been exciting in some ways, because it's like it's kind of a fiasco election as well. It's anyone could, if you have a good message, if you have some good resume when it comes to working with people and whatever, and doing things politically or financially, maybe you could be mayor in the community. So they had the first mayor debate. I'm not clicking this video. This video is almost 2 hours long. You can watch it on your own time. But these were the candidates: with Scott Stringer, Eric Adams, Catherine Garcia, Diane Morales, Sean Donovan, and Andrew Yang, Maya Wiley. It was all these different candidates on the Democratic side who
which one of them is offering UBI?
so nobody. So this debate pretty much was about housing and homelessness. And what happened was,
Okay.
everyone kind of fell in line with NYCHA. This whole issue, everyone seemed to forget that NYCHA is supposed to be a public service to the community and not to make a profit off it. And because they try to make a profit, it's become a total nightmare place for people. There's so many stories about NYCHA. We can go on for days and days. We're going to show you a video later about NYCHA from the I team.
Yay.
So, but there was discussion about it, and there were either discussions of totally restructuring the whole NYCHA strategy of financing and funding repairs to wanting more federal money, because actually NYCHA is supposed to be a federal. It's HUD. It's supposed to be like a federal level program to provide housing to people. It was, this
Yeah, they
stuff
do
was
get a
like
lot of federal funding.
this stuff was like something that started after the civil rights movement, was this housing stuff. So the fact that it's been in such disrepair shows you how much they cared about the civil rights movement when it comes to public housing and stuff. But this was an issue that they talked about, and a lot of people are worried that if they privatize NYCHA, what's going to happen to all those low income people in those houses? We have examples like in Stuyvesant Town, how that used to be public housing. Now it's like a fancy place, for NYU kids and yuppies and Lower East Side, and some residents in Manhattan still cling on to their apartments in a NYCHA place. But that's what's been happening. So that was up to debate, and also evictions, which is like evict apocalypse is coming. We have all across the city, across the country, you have cities and municipalities trying to like use loopholes for the eviction moratorium to evict people. They're working extra hard to evict people during the pandemic. In New York City, evictions have been happening. So I mean, but the thing about this debate, there was no discussion about just canceling the rent, just canceling it because people owe a lot of money. Now it's like preventing evictions and moratorium. It's about all this money people owe. What are you going to do about that? There wasn't no response for anyone from this debate. You can check this article for yourself and check that out. But the whole idea is just about income, like 50% of your income, 30% of your income goes to rent. That you can't live in New York City like that, and people have to do that.
Can't really live anywhere that way,
Yeah,
honestly. And we're not just talking about existing. There's a difference between living and existing. Subsistence.
And then also housing. I mean, there's a huge housing crisis. Bill de Blasio got handed a monstrous housing crisis, homeless and housing crisis, and he didn't have the
Because
capability.
Bloomberg thought it was a good sign for the city that we had so many homeless people, so many people living in despair. He thought that that was a sign of prosperity for the city.
Yeah, he was worried about people's straws in their drinks, whatever. Like what is like cup size, whatever, some weird thing he was worried about.
Oh yeah, it was the size of the beverages, not the not the ecological impacts of plastic straws or anything like that. He didn't really
No,
give a shit about that.
weird grandpa shit he was doing as mayor. So yeah, so this was happening. Like more supportive housing, because supportive housing and housing homelessness, this actually prevents crime. This all these crimes you hear in the subway with like drug abusers, this homeless people, all these like crimes happening in the subway. You can pretty much connect it to homelessness, chronic homelessness, mental health, and so this was like a really important debate to check out, and see people's all the mayor's opinions on it, and see who you can decide is going to be mayor of one of the biggest cities in the world.
Oh, you said all the mayors, kind of like what we talked about last week with all the CEOs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Who thought the other guy was a car valet? So yeah. So we have this. So I'm gonna show you this housing project clip from a couple of years
team
ago.
hit the record button to show you what a night in NYCHA is really like. Chris Glorioso
So this
is
is
live in
where-
Harlem tonight, where he spent an entire night.
Damn, even
with
the
a
roaches
family
are
trying to find
handicapped.
peace
Damn.
in public housing, Chris.
Roaches are feeling some pain.
Some of the conditions we're
They're the
about
first
to
in
show
line for
you,
the
they
vaccine.
The roaches are
upsetting. But
fucking
here at the
complaining
Harlem
about the
River Houses,
conditions.
People have been complaining about problems like this for years, and the first problem is right here at the front door. Look, the magnet on the door, it doesn't work. People have complained drug dealers can easily come inside. It's a security risk. And for the family that we profiled, this is just the beginning of their concerns.
And when it comes to drugs, it's more about the drug users than the drug dealers.
What'd you have for lunch?
It is 5 o'clock on a school night, and Bianca
It's a habit of
Ramirez
despair.
is walking her daughters to a home that she is not proud of. This is the Harlem River Houses,
There's
wow.
always pee in the elevator.
where everyone
poor
sidesteps the
babies.
liquid on the elevator floor and into a tiny one-bedroom apartment. An 8-year-old sleeps here, a 3-year-old here, mom and dad here, and an infant right here. 5
Wow.
people, all in the same room.
Wow.
I wanted my own room, actually. I don't know what it feels like to have your own room.
Yeah. I don't even know how the parents were able to
Dinner
make
time
the
is a little
infant
after
under
6
those
p.m. in the Ramirez
circumstances.
home.
Like they put some soundproof headphones in the kids.
But like
Oh,
everything
man.
Go over your
else,
sister's
meals
house.
They put them in a
challenge.
a
Not
sensory
only is this
deprivation
NYCHA
chamber.
apartment too small, it's
We're in the
infested with roaches and other insects.
Oh.
It's not appetizing.
It's a water
potentially
bottle?
not
Chill,
safe
yo.
for when Bianca's infant starts
No, I
to
think
crawl.
that was
She crawls. What
I think
do
that
you
was a
do?
baby's bottle.
Basically, what I do with my second one, just not let her on the floor. It sucks, but just she'll only be able to crawl on the bed because I don't want her on this floor. It's gross.
And when dinner time is over for the family, it's not over for the roaches. We spot one on the table where the kids were just
They don't
eating.
give a
It's
fuck.
very frustrating.
That's
Damn.
If I owned my own building, this is not what it would look like. Good night, baby.
Just before 8 p.m., Bianca's 3- and 8-year-olds are getting into bed. It's lights
And
out,
the roaches
eyes
are too.
closed, but not for long.
Stay nice, stay tight.
At
Roaches,
8:33,
good
when the baby
night.
goes down, the rustling wakes her sister up, and she's got preschool tomorrow. Even when the lights go out again, it's not peaceful in this cramped bedroom. The roaches are still active all through the night. We saw them climbing the bedpost.
There's no food there. What are they doing?
Squeezing 5 people in one bug-infested bedroom is one thing, but Bianca says the most maddening part is that she has requested a transfer to one of nearly 30 vacant apartments in the Harlem River Houses. NYCHA says those units are being renovated and other residents are ahead on the waiting list.
I, at this point, should be at the top of the list because if the list is a two-year wait, I'm on 3 years.
Back in this cramped room, Bianca told us she doesn't always sleep easy even if
How
the
many
baby's
empty
quiet
luxury
because the
apartments
hallways
drive
here
by
can get
every day in
loud,
New York
and that
City,
front
and it's
door
like waiting
is
lists
chronically
for
broken.
families like this?
This drug paraphernalia
Yeah.
on the floor, a sign
I
someone who
mean,
doesn't
it's
belong
so important to
walked
have
right
empty
in.
units
We
to
live in
show
buildings that are dangerous.
what you
Nobody's
could
doing
have
anything about getting
if
the gang members out of the building.
you took advantage of other people.
Back upstairs, it's now 3:48 in the morning. Bianca's baby is up once again, so she decides to pick her up and go to the living room so everyone else can sleep.
baby,
Unfortunately,
baby.
it is too late. Her husband and 3-year-old are up. At this point, it's 4:15. Sunrise isn't far away.
Sunrise.
This sleepless night in NYCHA is about to turn into a new day.
What's the morning gonna be like? It already is the morning.
It already is the morning.
Roaches
At
is
this
still
point, there's
in
not
there.
even there's no point in even going back to bed. Not for me.
After the IT
he had to
brought
take a
Bianca's
moment.
story to NYCHA management, we are told NYCHA sent a team of exterminators to try to get a handle on that insect.
Now they
Yeah,
show
and
up-
get a handle and get rid of the family.
Apartment. NYCHA says their application for a transfer needs more work, but they're going to work with the family on that. For now, reporting live in Harlem, Chris Glorioso, News 4, New York.
Those people did not want to be on camera. Who walked out behind them? But yeah, so
You're like, oh shit,
oh,
man.
fuck, I got warrants in 3 states.
You know, I mean, there's a part of me that looks at a video like that and it says a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old. So they're stair-stepping children 1 year apart. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know the conditions you're living in.
Yeah.
Birth control, maybe?
No,
I mean, that's the thought that comes to my mind. And I as much as I look at it and I say, well, you know, the economics of the world is probably, you know, like the real problem.
yeah.
But I
that's the real
cannot
problem.
shake that feeling of, you know, you don't have enough. You know, you don't make enough money to actually live life. You got roaches crawling on the kids you
That's
do
the thing.
have, and
You
you're
have to
still
think about the
making
other
kids.
side. You have to think about the other side. The other side, they probably think that's how hopeful, optimistic they are. They are so hopeful, optimistic
3-year waiting list.
that they're popping all these kids out, hoping that one day they're gonna have a nice place where they work hard enough. I mean, they have the same-
I can't do
they
the
have the
popping
same
out until I
idea.
get the nice place.
Oh, is that me either? I mean, I gotta wait. I can't have roaches crawling on my kids. That's not happening in this timeline. Maybe in another multiverse. The bum
No,
Messiah.
not in that one either. Nope. No, just
But-
no.
But the fact that we're allowing this to happen through children right now, in this very moment, all over the country, you know, like that's not just New York City, but New York City is a huge example because there's so much money. I mean, the housing authority needs about $40 billion to get those roaches out, to get the weird chemical paint out, to get all the hang-ups out, fix those.
Yeah, but where's the profit going to come from? You're dealing with poor people.
Yeah,
right?
because they're on Section 8, you know, they're waiting for their, subsidized rent, so, but that's the thing, like, if you're getting subsidized rent, what matter to you? The money,
you
that
were
check
living-
is guaranteed. The check is guaranteed if you know your tenant is getting Section 8 for the next, until they die.
Yeah, but the Section 8, right? But the thing is,
Yeah.
like, if I know that the money's going to come in whether I make the repairs or not, then I just get to save money on repairs
But then that's a whole
just
nother
by like
problem.
not doing the repairs.
But that's a whole nother problem with the landlord. Then you have a landlord that actually just doesn't give a shit about his tenants,
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you saw, like, I don't know, like one tiny little 6-lated something in one of those luxury units? They would send the National Guard in to
Yeah.
kill that shit.
Yeah,
Right?
it'll be on Yelp somehow that there was roaches in that apartment. So it'll be
Or something flew in from outside. Oh my God. Right? It's just, the ways that we see that people are constantly being shown to be worth less than other people is just it's just.
yeah. So I just want to show that video. real
And me
quick.
and you, we came from that environment.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I came from place. I remember I squatted in one place where the rats chewed through the electrical wire. I couldn't turn the light on in my room, so I moved out like 2 weeks later. So
Well, I grew up in the projects
Yeah.
for the most part. So
then that's like,
You
and
know.
that's when I was an adult. I just remember like, like just the different conditions I lived in New York City. This was crazy. And like,
yeah,
but like, yeah, but that's Black Power Magic Hour. I just want to, give a local story about the New York City elections and what's at stake. You see those are, when you talk about the statistics, we talk about the numbers. Those are families, and it's good to show videos.
Real
like
human
that,
beings behind these numbers.
where roaches crawling on their babies.
Oh yeah, and real roaches.
Real roaches.
And some of the roaches are disabled too.
So that's Black Power Magic Hour on Twitter, Facebook. We're on YouTube, on act.tv, over 47,000 subscribers. Shout out to James. He's back up and running, operational. He had a little situation the past few days, but I think he's back. So, but follow act.tv on YouTube, and then follow Dr. Evil Genius on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. He streams up there, and that's politics as usual.